Now we're going to demonstrate how to iron open or bust open, as I like to call it sometimes, your seams as you're sewing. And this is a technique that everyone uses, from beginners to more advanced stitchers. This may be common sense to some people, but others may not have ever heard of this before. So as you sew, and I've sewn just a plain, basic, straight seam here. After I've sewn that, I do need to open my seam allowance. You can see that it naturally kind of stays together, especially crisp fabrics. And you want to open it up so that your seam is nice and smooth and flat. So I've already got my iron heated up, and I'm going to put the tip of the iron down the center of the seam, and I'm going to use my fingers to help smooth and open that seam. And you can see it's a pretty easy task with a crisp fabric like muslin. Most cottons behave very nicely as you iron them. And I'm just going to move that iron down the seam, and I'm going to make sure that I can almost see the stitches right in my seam. Everything is smooth and open. Occasionally when beginning sewers iron, they accidentally overlap seam allowance and create folds and creases that they don't intend to. So do make sure that that seam is as flat as absolutely possible. Then I can turn it to the front side. This is the fashion or the pretty side of the fabric. And I can just make sure that everything is smooth and nice and neat. And I always want to do this before I proceed in sewing, because especially if I'm adding a piece up here, I want these seam allowances to stay flat and open as I run over them by adding a new piece. I don't want to get those pieces accidentally folded as they're stitched over. So good ironing and then later good pinning will help me do that.